Hello everyone, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. I'm Dan Philgreen. On today's show, we'll get a preview of this weekend's art show and sale from Melody Desilets. And we'll look back on the best stories from Shell Point Today from earlier this week. First, we want to remind you that Friday is the first day of the art show and sale. The two-day event runs from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. both Friday and Saturday. It's the perfect opportunity to experience and appreciate a vast showcase of art, including stained glass, woodwork, pottery, sculpture, painting, photography, and much more. Artists will be on hand to discuss their works and answer any questions. There's a raffle drawing and so much more. So be sure to make your way over to the Woodlands Commons and discover the creativity presented by residents of Shell Point. Saturday is your opportunity to check out this year's Red Sox team as they face the St. Louis Cardinals. The game will be held at the new JetBlue Stadium, and the game promises to be a great matchup. The cost is $40 with court pickups beginning at 11 a.m. on the island, 11:10 at the Woodlands, and 11:20 at Eagles Preserve. The return time will be approximately 5:30. Sunday, you can enjoy the classic sacred music of the Amasi Trio at the Village Church. The violinist, cellist, and pianist that comprise this trio will resonate God's praise through their own talents and the beautiful music. They have performed in such venues as the Beethoven Festival in New York, the Carnegie Room Series, and the Nyack College Concert Series. Hear them perform at 6:15 p.m. Tickets are available at the church office or by calling 454-2147. If you have an interest in dragon boat racing, then you might want to seize the opportunity to race in the Suncoast International Dragon Boat Festival. It's coming up in May. For those interested, there will be a meeting this coming Monday. Now, no previous paddling experience is required for this fun 26-member team building event. The meeting will be held at the Social Center on the island at 1:15 p.m. As spring approaches, you might find a little spring in your step. Well, perfect, because it's time for the spring dance. Shine your dancing shoes for a night of fun this Monday in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. You'll be swinging and singing to all the songs you know and love. The fancy footwork begins at 7 p.m., so don't miss out on this bopping good time. This month's issue of Shell Point Life magazine is all about creativity, as artists share inner beauty through inspired approaches. And now is everyone's chance to take in some of these beautiful and creative works. The Shell Point Art Show and Sale is this weekend, and Melody Desilets is standing by to give us all the details on what to expect at this year's event.
Hi Shell Point residents, my name is Melody Desilets and I'm here today to invite you to a very exciting upcoming art show and sale. It will take place on Friday, March 20th and Saturday, March 21st in the Woodlands Commons. Now it will take place on both floors of the Commons, so you want to make sure to check out the lobby, the Oak Room, the Grand Cypress Room, and more. The mediums you'll see at this year's show and sale are paintings, note cards, pottery, sculpture, stained glass, photography, woodworking, lapidary, scrapbooking, collage, and other mediums. And new this year, artists will be present to discuss with you the passion behind their pieces. Now, artists only take cash or checks, so you want to be prepared when you find a piece that you're going to cherish. Also, we will have raffle drawings where you could win an original piece of art or win a lucky buck. Now, what those lucky bucks are is just money that is intended to purchase artwork at that show and sale. So you want to be present for that as well. This is an invitation to everyone out there, including the public. So if you have friends, family, neighbors that you'd like to invite in Shell Point, the dates again are Friday, March 20th through Saturday, March 21st from 10 until 3. We hope to see you out there supporting your fellow resident artists. Thank you so much.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hi Shell Point, I'm Caitlin Van Scoy and this is Bev Chanley, and this is the weekend edition of the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. We're going to let you know what's happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday's activities start at 8 a.m. with men's match play doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. And at 8:15 we have the Stamp Ministry meeting in the Stamp Room on the island. From 8:30 to 11:30, we have the Friday Marketplace in the Administration Courtyard. At 9 a.m., we have Canasta and Samba in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. And men's match play doubles tennis will be at the Woodlands Tennis Courts at 10 a.m. We have the Shell Point Art Show and Sale at the Woodlands Commons from 10 to 3 on Friday. And 10:15, Inquiring Minds will be meeting in the Manatee Room. 1:15, we have advanced table tennis in the Tarpon Room. The Quilters will be in the Osprey Room at 1:15. And from 1:30 to 3:30 today, the Model Train Room will be open for complimentary tours. We have a Vespers at 1:30. That'll be in the Community Room of the Arbor. Bid Euchre will be played at 2 p.m. in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. And we have water volleyball at 2:15 in the LifeQuest Aquatic Center. 2:30 is the time for Latin Size in the Health Club. And we have another Vespers at 2:30 in the Community Room of King's Crown. We have another Vespers in the Springs at 3:30. 4 o'clock, we have pickleball at the pickleball courts, and that wraps up our Friday, and I'll give you to Bev for our Saturday activities.
Thank you, Caitlin. This is the day we have our 8 o'clock Adopt a Road group heading out from Administration Circle. Thank you all for helping keep those roadways clean. We also have pickleball at 8 o'clock down at the pickleball courts. Our last 8 o'clock activity today is the round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. 9:30 is the time for men's and women's doubles at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. And at 9:45, it's time for duplicate bridge. That's played in the Manatee Room on the island. From 10 to 3, we have the Shell Point Art Show and Sale. That's at the Woodlands Commons, and it's always fantastic, so you definitely don't want to miss that. At 10:15, we have the Model Yacht Sailing Club at the Garden Apartment Pond. Now we're going to jump to the afternoon for a 1 o'clock chess game in the Library Lounge at the Resident Activity Center. Scrabble will be also played at the Library Lounge, and that's at 1:15. And we have the Tarpon Room, jumping with table tennis, also at 1:15. At 3:15, we have basic line dancing. Now that's in the Health Club on the island. That's our Saturday. Here's Caitlin for Sunday.
Thank you, Bev. We start off with Christian Life Studies at 9 a.m. That'll be in the Sable Room of the Woodlands and also at the Village Church. 10:15, we have Morning Worship. That'll be at the Village Church, and it's also broadcasted live on Shell Point TV, Channel 13. Sunday Golf Mixer will be at 3:30 at the Shell Point Golf Club. We move all the way to 4:15 for Ballroom Line Dancing for Beginners. That'll be in the Health Club. 6:15, we have a Season of Praise concert, the Amasi Trio at the Village Church, and you do need a ticket for that. Well, thank you so much for joining us for the weekend edition. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Coleth with your Academy information for the weekend. On Friday, we have the weekly iPad iPhone walk-in clinic beginning at 10:15 in the Technology Teaching Center on the island. At 1:15, making greeting cards and posters with Print Shop continues in the Technology Teaching Center on the island. I'd like to share with you the new classes coming next week. On Monday, Charlotte Stempel of Solana will be teaching Crossing Cultural Barriers. On Tuesday, Professor Adrian Kerr will bring us Pompeii. On Wednesday, we have the third legacy seminar for the semester, Investing in a Rising Interest Rate Environment. And on Friday, the 6th Academy on the Go educational field trip will go to Billy Swamp Safari. On Saturday, we have the Batik Project Workshop with guest artist Pat Smelkoff.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is baby clams in olive oil and wine sauce over whole wheat linguine. The dinner special is the Seafood Buffet for $15.95. And the soup of the day is Manhattan Clam Chowder. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Friday, the special is fish and chips for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are braised veal for $15.95 or Florida lobster for $22.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, the special is an Italian sausage with peppers and onions and chips for $7.25. The dinner special is Parmesan crusted tilapia with wild rice and steamed broccoli for $8.25. The dinner special in the Palm Grill on Saturday is prime rib for $19.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $17.50. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Sunday, the special is a turkey Reuben with fries for $7.25, and the dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25. And the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
It's a joy to welcome you today to Village Church Connections. And as we look forward to the weekend ahead, I'm here with Pastor Andy Hawkins to talk a little bit about our Sunday services. Welcome, Andy.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Andy, we always start off on Sunday morning with our CLS classes.
That's right.
And those begin at 9 a.m. at the church in the hospitality room area. Pastor Ken Nusserode has been doing a series on prayer, and I know that it's been very appreciated.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then we move into our morning worship service. And we have some special guests that will be with us this week called the Amasi Trio.
That's right. Yeah, it's sort of a classical group, three players, and they're going to do a Season of Praise concert in the evening for us, but they're going to be participating in the morning service as well, which always adds a special dimension to what we normally do on Sunday morning worship.
It does. It does. So in addition to our normal worship components, we will be able to enjoy them. I believe the trio is made up of a violinist, a cellist, and a pianist. Mm-hmm. And they do both classical and sacred music.
That's right.
So we're looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are preaching from one of my favorite chapters in all of the Bible, and that's Hebrews chapter 11. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit what we'll be exploring this Sunday.
Well, we've obviously been in Hebrews for a while, but one of the highlights of the book of Hebrews, of course, is the 11th chapter. It's the chapter that deals with faith. Some people call it the Hall of Faith, in which so many people who have demonstrated genuine biblical faith have really done remarkable things throughout the period of time of redemptive history that the Bible covers, and certainly we'll get into that. But even before we get into that, just as last week we began with the first couple of verses looking at sort of the functional definition of faith that the author of Hebrews has, now we get into the notion in verse 3 that it's by faith that we understand that the world was created by the Word of God. And so we begin to look at the dimensions of creation which evoke genuine faith among the people of God. And it's an extraordinary story to tell. Obviously, the heavens declare the glory of God, the psalmist tells us. And so this is one of those occasions in just that one verse when we get to unpack so many of the dimensions of creation that evoke a faithful response among God's people. So I'm really looking forward to it.
That sounds awesome. Very exciting. Looking forward to it as well. And then we mentioned in the evening, part of our Season of Praise concert series, the Amasi Trio will be with us. Mm-hmm. And that will start at 6:15. Tickets are $10, and they are available either by calling the church office or at the door. And we certainly welcome folks.
That's correct. I have not heard them personally, but everything that I've heard about them is that we're in for a wonderfully encouraging evening in which they not only communicate through their music, but also the words that they use to bring, in fact, the encouragement of the Spirit of God in the midst of their music. I think is going to be a wonderful evening, and I'm really looking forward to it.
That's great. I appreciate these opportunities so much that come right here to Shell Point.
Absolutely.
For us to enjoy and to lead us in worship. Mm-hmm. So we invite you to join us this weekend, Sunday morning, beginning at 9 for our CLS class, 10:15 for morning worship, 6:15 for a Season of Praise concert. Have a wonderful weekend.
And now let's take a look back at the stories from earlier this week on Shell Point Today. Last Monday wrapped up the final day of the biennial quilt show. We took our camera out to the social center just in time for the announcement of the winner of the Challenge Quilt competition. And we also got an up-close look at all of these fabulous creations.
Hi, I'm Dan Philgreen, and we're here in the social center to give you a bit of a look at the wonderful biennial Shell Point Quilt Show. There are so many beautiful quilts here that if you didn't get a chance to come, we wanted you to get to see some of them. So I have here Pat Meredith. Pat, tell us how the quilt show is going.
From reports we've gotten, it is wow. That's the most often thing, or fantastic. It's wonderful.
Now, I know that this year is all new quilts. All the quilts are supposed to never have been shown before. I thought, where could we get that many quilts? But I see quilts everywhere.
Quilts everywhere. We've got them stored. We've given them away and get them back. Family quilts, heirloom quilts, the vintage quilts. We just have a lot of people that have quilts.
And they're a beautiful and a tremendous variety.
We had no restriction except that we wanted colorful quilts if we could get them. And people really want to show their quilts if they've got them because they've spent a lot of hours making them.
Absolutely. And if there's one thing we have here today, it's color, folks.
Lots of color. Sea of colors. You'll notice even the things at the bottom are covered.
Yeah, that's a clever way to disguise an ugly thing. That's wonderful.
Now you like it. Okay, very good.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
This particular quilt was given to a thrift store, and the people from the thrift store in Sunnyvale brought it to us, the quilt group. So we adopted it, and I got it, and I finished it. So to finish it, I had to recut the circles and apply them by hand. So that's what they call hand appliqué. And then once you've done all of that, then you have to quilt it. So I quilted it all the way around. So you decide how you're going to do it, you know. And that's to take care of the 3 layers, because a quilt consists of a backing, there's batting in the middle, and the top. And then we put a label so that people know who did it and when it was done. So I gave it a name, Cosmo, because of all the circles. And then you finish it by putting a binding. So it takes a while because first you have to decide what you're going to do. Then you have to buy the fabric, which is the fun part. Then you have to put it together, and then you can sew it by machine. All these pieces were sewn by machine. Just a circle were done by hand, and the quilting. So, and then you have a finished quilt.
So how many hours do you think you had in this one?
You wouldn't ask those questions. I don't know, because you do it a little at a time, you know. So some people do it very fast, and other people take a couple of years or more.
Wow. Well, it sure is beautiful, and there's such a variety, so many ideas that are represented.
I can show you one that was done in 2 years.
2 years.
And you'll be amazed. You want
Let's take a look at the 2-year quilt.
2 years quilt, okay? There was a quilt made by a woman in the 1800s during the Civil War, and she designed and cut all these little blocks one by one. There's not 2 alike.
Wow.
And there's not 2 fabric alike. And it's all done by hand.
All by hand.
All by hand.
Whoa, that's a lot of work.
Done by our current quilt leader, whose name is Pat Meredith. And she does gorgeous stuff. So all this is handmade.
Wow.
She said it took her 2 years, which is quite good because
That's smoking fast. 2 years. That's a fast quilt.
me a lot longer than that. And that one behind you is a Baltimore type quilt. Baltimore type quilt. It's all hand.
What makes it Baltimore?
The type of design that it is, which is usually square with a lot of flowers and birds and little houses. And it's all appliqué.
Kind of a puckery kind of a thing, isn't it?
Here's a little bud, a rosebud, and that is what makes it a Baltimore type quilt.
All kinds of quilts for all kinds of folks.
All kinds of quilts. This quilt was started by our previous leader, and her name was Vera Graham. Am I saying this okay?
Vera Graham, okay.
Okay. And she started it. She had all those circles were cut, and she has a lot of the background block made. So we adopted it when she died, and we finished it. So it was a lot of work because this is all appliqué. And then we had a problem with some of the blocks were too small, so we made them bigger by putting a strip, you know.
Oh, that's ingenious.
And then we use the strip to make another design within the quilt.
Beautiful.
And then we put this together to give it a little light, another dimension. And then we decided to put it on the silent auction.
Oh, so this is one of the ones that's for sale, actually.
Yes. And to our surprise, we thought that when we had finally decided after deliberation how much was the minimum going to be,
Yes.
they didn't think it would sell. And now we've got the bid.
That's fantastic.
So we're very pleased.
So this is Vera's sister here. What did you think of how it ended up?
Well, I am pleased beyond belief.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It is really lovely.
You think she would have approved?
I know she would have.
We have Joan Bell here, and this is the area that's displaying the challenge quilts for a little contest. Tell us about that, Joan.
Well, we were each given one fat quarter. That's a piece of fabric 18 by 22, quarter of a yard, and we were not allowed to discuss with each other what we were doing. It was a total secret until just a week ago when we revealed the ones that we had completed. If you look around the corner, there's a couple unfinished ones as well.
Very good. So how many entries do we have in this challenge?
Just 9.
Just 9, okay.
Makes it easy for voting.
Okay.
You don't have
So who
to choose
will
from.
be the winner?
Hi, Shell Point. My name is Melody Desilets, and I am joined by very beautiful women standing in front of very beautiful quilts for the 2015 Sea of Colors Quilt Show Challenge. And we are about to announce the winner. So, ladies, if we can direct the camera behind us, look at all this talent in display. No quilt is the same. They are so different, which just shows the variety of talent and wonderful stitching and workmanship that went into each and every piece. So this year we had 444 votes for the viewer's choice. It was their favorite one, and we had 9 different quilts on display. And the winner, with 127 of the votes, is quilt number 3. So Pat Bays is our winner. Pat, can you tell us a little bit about your quilt and the inspiration behind it, please?
That is a Celtic quilt, and it is just taking little bitty pieces of bias material and sewing it so that it does not have a beginning or an end. So it goes under one, over the other.
Wonderful. Okay, we have a little trophy to present to you. It says Sea of Colors 2015 Shell Point Quilt Show Viewer's Choice Challenge winner. So here you are. You are all winners here today. You all did an immense amount of work, and we are so, so grateful for the talent and the beauty that you put together. So if we can give everyone a hand clap, thank you so, so much for all that you've done.
The Orchid House is a fascinating place to hang out. With all its colors and beauty, it can easily be seen why so many take pride in caring for these wonderful flowering plants. No matter the season, simply step inside the Orchid House and it becomes springtime. I spoke with Helen Remington recently, who gave me a tour of this wonderful oasis.
We stopped by the Orchid House the other day, and there is an amazing variety of the plants that are in bloom right now, so we thought we'd come over here and check out what's new. So, good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us, what's new at the Orchid House?
Well, we have some beautiful blooms right at the moment.
All right, and I've noticed here, you've pointed out that we've got a little different thing going on with some of these ones that are not in pots, but you kind of flipped the pots.
Yes, we did. It's just something new, and we learned this at the Fort Myers Orchid Society, and we have a man that did the wire. There's a special little wire you put inside the pot, and we put them on the pots and secured them down, and we're hoping that they'll do real well. And we'll know in 6 months if they made it or not.
Okay, so this is kind of akin to what I see around Shell Point in various places where we have orchids attached to trees, right?
Yes. And the orchids, on trees they're happy. We have the Shambachia here that's just about ready. She got just a little nip of the cold, and so she's not real happy.
Well, tell us about the cold. We did have a pretty cold night last week. Tell us about what happened.
Well, I've been here for 12 years, and we've never taken the orchids inside. Last week we did.
All of these orchids out here. About how many do we have out here? Do you have any idea?
500.
500. Yeah. They all went inside for the first time.
Yes, and there were 3 of us that hauled them in and placed them in the back room, and we were bushed.
I'll bet.
But you know,
and then you had to put them all back.
Yes, I was just going to say, taking them in, but excuse me, then they all had to come back out. But they're back out. And when we got a little smarter, when we brought them back, we repot them every 2 years. So the ones in front here all have to be repotted. Okay. The ones in the back have all been repotted.
All right.
So wasn't that smart?
Okay, so you got a little reorganization done while you're at it.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
That saved us a lot of work.
Excellent. Now, for those who haven't been over here or don't know, approximately how many orchids are there in total? Do you have an idea, just roughly?
Millions.
No, I don't mean in the world. I mean here at the Shell Point Orchid House.
We have about 1,500.
1,500 yes. Folks. And, you know, if you don't know anything about orchids, I didn't for a long time, but they're all the same species, right?
Yes.
The exact same species, and yet the variety is astounding.
It is. It's just, they're magnificent. And when they put out their blooms, it's just unbelievable.
It really is. You know, I'm a guy, I'm not really much for flowers. I could take them or leave them. But, you know, orchids are fascinating. You know, if you just come out to the orchid house and take a look, you know, I think you'll become a fan. It's hard to not become a fan of orchids.
It is.
When you just take them in, they just kind of get you, don't they?
They grow on you. But, you know, we had 2 men. When I came here, Dr. Williams was in charge, and Don Lawrence was the potter. And Dr. Williams has passed on, but Don Lawrence is 99. He can't come anymore, but those 2 men really gave 10 to 15 years of their life to this orchid house, and all the things that we do came from their knowledge, and we stay pretty much to that.
Yeah. Well, this is a wonderful, wonderful legacy of these fellows and of everyone else who's put them in a lot of time and effort to caring for these orchids.
We have a staff of people that come every day. Now today is Vida's day, and she washes the pots. We have another lady that comes that washes our medium. We have another lady that comes in bugs. So it takes a lot of people to do this, and everybody comes and does their job, and they enjoy it. It's a wonderful place to work.
Absolutely.
It really
well, I
is.
can tell you love it, and you're not the only one, and we all get to the benefit of getting to just come and look at the flowers and love it too. And now we're with Bob Fuchs, one of the great volunteers in the Orchid House. Bob, what would you like to point out to us today?
Well, I was just working this morning on this plant, which is an oncidium, and interestingly enough, it suddenly has developed 7 spikes.
7? Ooh.
7. And these will all be full of, maybe it's 8. I think there's another one in there. These will be a long string of blooms, and we've got some that are similar down the line here that will, they just fill up with blooms. I don't know how high this is going. It's probably got another foot or 2 to go.
Wow. So it looks like a really happy plant.
It is a happy plant, and I don't know what the age, let's see how far back it goes. The record here goes back to 2005, so that's 10 years.
10 years. And then how long can some of these plants live?
God, I think we've got them 15, 20 years.
15? Yeah. And I've heard somewhere, I read that they could potentially live to be like 100 years. Is that right?
Probably could. Yeah, probably could.
So you take care of them, you can hand them down to your grandchildren, huh?
Well, they're, when they find the right place.
Right.
Or they like to sit in the right spot. When you get one in the right spot, it's going to do well. We moved one outside just recently, and we looked at it, I said, that's not doing well there. And we moved it around to the other side of the shade house. And it's very happy.
It likes it there.
So that's,
Well, great.
yeah. What else do we have here? This, of course, is the classic Darwin orchid that we've gotten a few prizes for. And then these guys. Now, this is going to be spectacular. It's called Amusman or Amusman. I'm never quite sure how to pronounce it. If you get the Orchid Journal from the American Orchid Society, they have a little pronunciation guide in it.
Yeah, so very helpful.
Yeah. Incidentally,
there's no lack of names to these things,
no
are
lack
there?
of names. Oh boy, they make them up. And this one will look something like the one we just talked about with the 7 spikes. Not exactly the same style, but this one has 2 spikes. So these are about to pop. And what happens with these? You see, some of these drupes have still have green leaves. The leaves die, they fall off, and then you end up with this. This will be all blooms.
All right, so this one, when should folks come to see this one?
Boy, I don't know. I would have said come last week, but it's
still kind of going, still cooking in there.
Yeah. But when they come out, they're really great. Most of these hanging ones are dendrobiums, which seem to go on forever and ever. We've had the best year with dendrobiums that we ever had. And some of them date back to last summer when we stuck them in here, and they're still blooming.
Wow.
So. Yeah, Paphio. Yeah, they're Paphs. Yeah, I was trying to think. Slipper. Yeah, slipper orchids. And I think they're common up like in along roadsides up in the northern Midwest. And so you've got some terrific blooms. Look at these.
And I was trying to remember the name of this style. What are they?
Catalea.
Cataleas. Yes.
Yeah, they're the big, the junior prom orchid.
Right.
And yeah, you got small cataleas. They've got big cataleas. Most everything has got buds on it right in through this section. See these?
Oh yeah.
It's got a little bud starting.
Ready to go.
It's got 2 of them. There's another one. And now here's an interesting plant. There are 2 of them in here. One of them is this orchid, which is on these long hanging drooping branches. This is Laodicea, which is now in bloom. And they're more of a terrestrial orchid. They're planted in dirt and soil rather than in the medium that we use. This is an interesting story because we had a lot of these, and one day a rabbit got in here.
A rabbit got in here?
Spent the night.
Uh-oh.
And
that's not good.
Ate all the Laodicea. Seemed to like them.
Oh my.
So fortunately, I had one of them back at the apartment for some reason. And that was the only one we had left. So we brought them back, and now you see we've got a bunch of them.
So these are the babies, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, they're propagated.
Yeah, next generation. And here are the Phalaenopsis. And Jim Hooper takes care of these specifically. We're having a good year with these, as you can see.
Boy, I'll say they're going gangbusters here.
And he kind of gets the bloomers that way, and then he moves them down.
Okay.
Probably this will all fill up. And it'll be quite a show then.
Terrific. Well, thanks, Bob. Appreciate you showing us around.
Okay.
It's a magnificent collection. If you haven't been out here, you owe it to yourself to come and take a look at these beautiful flowers. Now is a great time. There are so many in bloom. But even if you have come out, you know that it's always a little different, right?
It's every day.
There's a different one in bloom all the time. It's always something new, always something beautiful. So you know what? I think we need to give the folks a little taste. So we're going to show them a little photo collection here of everything that's in bloom right now.
Okay.
It's time for the big spring Shell Point Singers concert. And to add more power to the punch, they are teaming up with the Bonita Bay Singers. Randy Woods has more to discuss about next Tuesday's concert.
Hi, I'm Randy Woods, and here it is March and it's springtime, and we're ready for another huge concert coming up with the Shell Point Singers and the Bay Singers of Bonita Bay. And as we have done this since working together with David McJoint, our resident here at Shell Point, David's been part of the Bay Singers, and you actually started the choir. Is that correct?
That's right, Randy. In 1998.
Okay.
I moved into Bonita Bay, and I was looking for a place to sing, and they said, well, why don't you start a choir? So that's how it started. I had the original idea for the choir then, and we had a beginning of about 12 to 15 people showed up. My thinking was that there's a lot of people here that are retired that have sung in choirs and throughout their life would like to sing again. And that certainly is what happened, because we did good that year. But, you know, after that we said, you know, we're pretty good here. Why don't we kind of organize this thing and put it together a little bit, get a little budget together and hire a director and accompanist. And that worked out well. And here it is, 16 years later, and we've only had 3 directors. And our last one, Bruce Galbraith here, has brought us to a point where we're really good.
So, I would agree. So tell us a little bit about Bruce. We've had a joy working together at our previous concert, but you're the one who hired him and has worked with him closely with the Bay Singers. Tell us a little bit about Bruce and his leadership.
Well, I don't have enough time, Randy.
That's true. I understand. Yeah.
Bruce is I call him an infield utility guy because he does everything. He's in instruments a lot, which we've never had before, which really perks up the whole business, and he's had a tremendous background in teaching with choirs. He's toured choirs all over Europe. And in Interlochen, which was music camp in Michigan, was a favorite of his, and we've had a lot of people talk a lot about his experience at Interlochen. Bruce, you might tell us a little bit more about your background. Those are just a highlight.
Interlochen was a great time, Dave, and it's very special young people. It was a vision that a man had, that kids could have a wonderful training and include lots of music with their academics, and it works.
Sure does.
In recent years, Jewel and Josh Groban have come from there, and they're kind of well-known names.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've worked with a lot of young people, but I find that in our community that our young people here still have a great desire to learn, a zest for singing, a joy in life, and what a great opportunity it is for us to put our resources together. With your choir, we have approximately 70, 75 singers from the Bay Singers, and here the Shell Point Singers, another 75. We're going to fill the stage with over 150 singers in this combined concert on Tuesday night, March 24th. And Bruce and I had the privilege of working together. Bruce is has great knowledge of the choral repertoire, a variety of styles. And it was fun when we got together at your home and we're picking out music selections for us.
We think it's going to be a good show, and it's magic in a way. 150 people, they're going to sing a concert, and they only will have had one rehearsal together.
Yep.
But because you and I are so in tune that you're rehearsing them the way we have agreed, and I'm doing the same with my gang.
Right.
And so that's really magic, like I said, when you put those two groups together.
Well, it was way back in the fall when we started this, getting our music, getting everything selected, making the notes for breaths and all those kinds of things. But now, as we put it together, we have a little theme that you've helped to develop.
Well, we always have a theme. It's really,
getting away from it all.
Well, it's called Let's Get Away From It All, and it's about how you travel the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe, or travel down Route 66, or in current years, how about Fly Me to the Moon, or the other places that we love to go on our vacation, such as Shenandoah or New York, New York. And then it ends up with a wonderfully lovely song about being where you are is where you love, and that's special to all of us. So I think people will recognize at least 7 or 8 of the tunes.
Oh, I'm sure they will. They're favorites, and our singers love singing these tunes. the Shell Point Singers, and they're doing so well. I have to admit that some of them are new to me. I guess I was born late.
Yeah, Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe, that might have been the one.
Yeah, but those railroad songs,
Dave,
what fun,
you're in
though.
both groups, of course.
Yes, I was going to tell you that, you know, you're absolutely right. These two have written the songs and put all the markings in there, and I rehearse at both places. I rehearse here with Randy on Monday, and then I'm with Bruce again on Thursday, and it really doesn't make any difference. It comes out the same every time because they're following the markings in the music. And I think it's going to come together really well, really quick, too, because both sound good. Both sound good.
I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate the opportunity, and it's a great privilege for us as a choir, the Shell Point Singers, to combine our resources, our energy, our voices with the bass singers. And I appreciate you men, just your leadership and generosity of time and talent to make this happen. It's going to be a great celebration for us in the community here. So it's Tuesday night, March 22nd. The concert's at 7:30. It's free. I'm sorry, the concert is at 7:15. And the concert is free. So come out and be a part of this great celebration of spring. And what a chance for us to get away from it all.
That's exactly
and yet
what it's all
still
about.
staying right here, but it's another world once that music starts.
We love singing here. Thanks, Randy.
Oh, it's our privilege. Thank you. Well, Bruce and Dave, thank you for joining me today. And we look forward to seeing you with the Shell Point Singers and the Bass Singers as we celebrate and get away from it all with our little adventure of travel and our concert coming up on Tuesday night, March 24th. And that will be at 7:15 p.m. here at the Village Church. Have a great day.
On Thursday's show, we took a visit over to Ruth Duber's kitchen, where she was conjuring up a healthy spinach salad.
Hi, I'm Ruth Duber, and this is what's cooking at Shell Point. And I have a recipe for a spinach salad. I know everybody's going to say, oh, we know how to make spinach salad, but this one's a little bit different. We do use the baby spinach, and we do use hard-boiled eggs, and we do use onions and mushrooms and bacon. But we saute and cook the onions and the marshmallows or the mushrooms until they caramelize. And this is the dressing. This is about 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. And I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of sugar. And about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Now we're going to put the lid on it and shake it, and we'll be ready to use it a little bit, but we'll let it sit. So let's go over to the stove and we'll do these. Now I did do the bacon ahead of time, and as you can see, there is some bacon drippings in there, along with the bacon grease. So first, we're going to cook red onions. And we're going to get these cooked. Now the recipe says when the onions are done, take the onions out, clean out the skillet, and then just put in a tad more of the bacon grease. Well, I don't bother to do that. I just take the onions out, and then I put the mushrooms in. So this will take just a few minutes. I'll turn it up a little higher. Okay, now I'm going to set these aside. Now, why would you want to waste all that? The fond that's down there in the pan. Whoops. Get out of there. You're not supposed to throw them all over the stove. One thing about the mushrooms, These are the baby bellas, but you don't want to wash them. Wipe them off with either a paper towel or a cloth. They absorb too much water, then they won't brown. Okay, you ready? Okay, we're going to put some of the mushrooms. We're going to add some of the onions. Okay, let's go over and get our dressing. We on? Okay. Let's put some hard-boiled eggs on before we do that. Okay, now we're ready for the dressing. And let's go with the bacon. And I found these at Publix, glazed pecans. So we'll add a little crunch. And there we have it. I think it looks mighty good. I hope you'll try it. I have a hungry cameraman here, so we're going to have our lunch. I'll put the recipe up on the website. It's a little different twist to the regular spinach salad. Hope you'll try it. Bye-bye.
Well, that wraps up another exciting week on Shell Point today. Be sure to come back next week for more stories and information about your favorite place in the sun. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, I'm Dan Philgreen. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.